Доброе утро, уважаемые коллеги. К сожалению, у меня очень плохой английский. Я только знаю fuck you, fuck me. На презентации слайд нашей информационной компании российской. На ней надпись «Я могу многое». К сожалению, мне очень хотелось бы сказать, что я многое могу сделать для того, чтобы PrEP стал доступен в Российской Федерации, но, к сожалению, наши возможности очень сильно ограничены. И в своей презентации я буду говорить о ситуации в России и о том, как мое правительство делает многое для того, чтобы эпидемия в Российской Федерации среди МСМ приостанавливалась или не делает. Как уже говорил Теймур, 70% новых случаев ВИЧ-инфекции в Восточной Европе и Центральной Азии приходится на Россию. В этом году уже 1 миллион людей с ВИЧ зарегистрировано. За время конференции 900 человек узнают о своем ВИЧ-статусе. Ой, как назад? По данным исследования, которое мы провели в 2017 году, каждый пятый гей в больших городах живет с ВИЧ. Однако по официальной статистике только 3% зарегистрированных случаев в России. И надо сказать, что вот Теймур говорил о том, что большинство новых случаев, зарегистрированных в Европе или в США, больше 50 случаев – это случаи среди МСМ, у нас почему-то 3%. И мы это связываем с тем, что при постановке на учет гомосексуальные люди не говорят о своих гомосексуальных связях в связи со стигмой и дискриминацией. И я хотел рассказать о 3 основных системных проблемах, которые существуют в профилактике среди МСМ в России. На 2 проблемы никак не можем повлиять, на одну может частично повлиять, на первую проблему. И поэтому для нас чрезвычайно важно, чтобы в России появилась преконтактная профилактика, потому что с этими проблемами в данной политической ситуации мы никак не можем работать. В общем-то, первая проблема, и в целом здесь хоть как-то мы можем, как НКО, влиять на эту ситуацию. Эпидемиологические данные собираются неструктурированно, и поэтому мы имеем в официальной статистике, что 3% новых случаев ВИЧ регистрируются только среди МСМ. Но на самом деле цифры намного больше. Вторая проблема – это то, что органы власти открыто бездействуют, либо часто выступают спонсоры стигмы и дискриминации в отношении представителей МСМ и трансгендерных людей. И, в общем-то, моя страна – это такой спонсор стигмы, который влияет на все постсоветские страны. И я не знаю, что с этим делать. Моя организация столкнулась с конкретным случаем, когда наш сайт заблокировали. Прокурор в очень небольшом городе увидел на статью, в которой рассказывалось о том, что гей-порно – это хорошая возможность рассказывать о профилактике ВИЧ среди МСМ, и он посчитал, что это пропаганда гомосексуализма. И, в общем-то, было решение суда, чтобы заблокировать наш ресурс. Мы судились, и, к нашему большому удивлению, мы выиграли этот суд, но это скорее исключение из правил. Третье препятствие – это так называемый закон о иностранных агентах. И ситуация такова, что этот закон очень сильно мешает ветеринарным организациям.
Really strongly gets in the way of NGOs when we carry out our prevention programs among vulnerable groups and in particular among MSM. In 2016, the Russian Federation adopted a national strategy to combat the spread of HIV infections, and this is a document of 18 pages and only mentioned MSM once with the following formulation of wording: people entering non-traditional sexual relationships, which is a stigmatizing type of wording. And this strategy does not really provide any specific measures for HIV prevention among MSM. And in fact, I would believe this is actually a dead document without real power. As of today, we do not have any use protocols for PrEP, and we know that California has decided to abandon the requirement of prescriptions, but in our country, doctors cannot officially prescribe PrEP because this is officially not recognized in Russia. This slide is progress and achievement, but I'm very skeptical about what it says. I'm not really sure that this is real progress, but at least in 2019, the Ministry of Health of the Russian Federation prepared recommendations on working in key vulnerable populations, and these recommendations have a small chapter which talks about the need to use PrEP. So for us, this is a success. And the key specialists from the Ministry of Health and the Federal AIDS Center have spoken favorably on PrEP, and I can say this is another success for us. The main specialist of the Ministry of Health, he says it's hard to imagine a future without PrEP, and I recently took an interview with him, and he said that he can see a very high important role of NGOs in that work. He mentions the European experience when the civil society was actually introducing PrEP, but the situation in Russia is that we do not really have any internal resources, so the government is not going to hand out any money on PrEP because there is no money on RT. So the discussion is going on, and people are saying that we cannot really do prevention if we have no money for treatment. And nobody is actually noticing that if we don't put money into prevention, then we're going to have this endless vicious circle of treatment, and the number of new HIV cases will increase, and we will never have enough money for prevention. Vadim Pokrovsky, he is the head of the Federal AIDS Center, and he said that PrEP can be used and should be used, but under certain control. And this is probably the only official in Russia who actually recognizes a catastrophic situation in Russia. I don't really know why this man has not been sacked yet, maybe because he has enough respect and recognition, but he is the only one that really raises an alarm and says things are really bad and are going to really further deteriorate. So he always talks about that, but regretfully, he doesn't have enough power to influence the situation. I think I should mention the situation of hemp sex. Hemp sex is becoming part of the gay subculture in Russia, and new drugs, including injected ones, are widely used in big cities. And now we have seen that there is an injection drugs being used. But this is my expert judgment, because we have no official research on that. And healthcare providers, health ministry, and the National AIDS Center, they do not have any idea of what to do about this. And Russia sometimes, is ahead of all of the planet, as our old anthem said, but we have this nice Hydra platform, which is the largest platform on the sale of drugs. This is the most convenient online shop for buying something. So this is even more convenient. So you can get select a drug within 30 minutes, and it will be available maybe even if it's not your region, and it's in the next maybe district. So you can actually pay and you can get something very clearly, and with a barely 30 minutes you can select your drug and go and buy it and get it. And this is available. But of course this is ruining our lives. In 2018 we conducted a survey. Regretfully, we didn't manage to actually repeat the survey just before this summit, but at least I'm sharing the information from last year. So we had 677 respondents on that survey. Did you use a condom when you had sex? And yes was for only 45% of people. And then have you heard about PrEP before? 37 people said yes, 63 said no. And Timur actually said in his presentation that there was some information that was provided by the AMIS research. So over 80% in the UK know about PrEP, over 80% in France, and in the UK 20% of people actually talked about PrEP with the GP. So when our doctors can talk about PrEP, in Russians it's non-existent. In Russian doctors do not really know of PrEP, so they cannot really talk to patients about this. If doctor suggested using PrEP, would you use it? And then 10% said yes, they would use PrEP even without doctor's involvement. And then yes, but only with medical control. 48% said they didn't know, and 6% would say no. And we asked people why they said, why did you answer no or I don't know? And what people said was the following. 11% said, I don't know if this is effective. And then people would say, I don't think that this method is reliable. I don't want to take any pills. I'm afraid of side effects. So this slide is really important because people overall don't really know what PrEP is. So this is some room for maneuver and something to do for us. I've got a problem because I've got it all in Russian and in English, and I'm getting a bit confused. Okay. So we also asked our respondents, are you ready to pay for PrEP yourself in the future? And 56% said yes, we're ready, and they would spend about 15-20 euro in general to buy Russian generic, but this is not one pill, these are two separate products. 17% said they would spend 35 to 40 euro to buy Indian generics, and only 21% said that they would buy Truvada. 6%. Sorry, and 21% said that they wouldn't be ready to pay for PrEP. And this was really quite an amazing result of that survey, because 320 people said that even though only 37% of people actually know what PrEP is, but they nevertheless said that they would be actually willing to take part in a pilot project, which we found really strange. So what kind of strategies for PrEP introduction would we have in Russia? I think there are no actors in Russia who would do their best to promote PrEP in Russia. There are no donors who could support a pilot project on PrEP. Our organization has sent an application to the AGF fund, and we got a refusal. In 2018, this global fund actually left Russia, and we do not have any other major donor to support a pilot project in Russia, regretfully. And overall, when we understood that we cannot find any money for pills, for medication, but so we decided at least we will tell people what PrEP is. And the only method that we have at our disposal is a website. And it's not very costly, even though we do not have enough funds for that. I am the chief editor-in-chief of Parni Plus, which is Guys Plus, a website with 2.5 million visitors. These are the unique visitors from Central Europe, Eastern Europe and Central Asia. And 27% these are people from Russia, and others are from post-Soviet countries. And we created a website called PrEP.love, which I think it has the largest amount of informational material on PrEP in Central Europe and Eastern Europe. And we have quite a lot of traffic on that site, and we understood that people wouldn't really search for this information in Russia. You know, Google would say 0 hits or maybe 10 hits overall when you search something in Russian. So it was important for us to understand what kind of needs people have in order to actually provide something. And do people have any needs to be safe? People don't really know about PrEP. They would like to be safe. Everybody wants to be safe, right? But we need particular instruments to actually be safe, remain safe. So we decided that we're going to be a bridge to create demand for PrEP, so that people have information, so that people actually know that there is this possibility of pre-exposure prophylaxis. And something which has been probably most successful is our video materials. In the course of 6 months, 350,000 people actually watched our materials. I think it's a great success. And some of the successful things, or most successful things, is that we have been working very closely with gay video bloggers, and we have really a boom of YouTube and video blogs in Russia in recent years, because people want to get information in some way. The central TV channels are silent about that, and they actually sponsor the stigmatization. So YouTube has been thriving in our country as a result, and we decided that the best way would be to actually talk about popular gay bloggers and do videos together with them and help them in shooting the videos. And this actually has been bringing good results, very fast results, because they can tell people in Russia of PrEP and how to use PrEP. Regretfully, we had this ethical issue. Should we talk about specific brands of drugs in our videos or not? Are we supposed to talk about particular numbers or not? But we decided we should be really open and we should really talk about everything. And we're also talking that it's very important to approach a medical professional to actually ask about PrEP, and people should actually do that and, of course, do their own research. It's also important to say that, as of today, in order to get PrEP, Moscow has a private clinic. This is a gay-friendly clinic, and overall people could go and get PrEP there. It's going to be relatively inexpensive. They might select a product for you, which is relatively cheap. It would be the cost of around 200 euros in total to actually put you on PrEP. And that's more or less it. And I could also say that the Ministry of Health in Russia is saying that they have launched a pilot project in Ural, in Chelyabinsk, city of Chelyabinsk. But I am really not sure if this thing can be called a pilot project, because the project is that there are some PrEP medication being handed out in an AIDS center, but we have no other information on that, and I'm not sure if this is a pilot project or not. That's all from me now. Thank you very much, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.